Hey everybody, it's your buddy's pal Anthony. Today we're talking Ghostbusters Back in Town issue number 4. This is the conclusion of the miniseries from Dark Horse Comics that's supposed to bridge the gap between Afterlife and Frozen Empire. Spoilers after the intro. Steve, hit it please.
Who you gonna call?
Thank you, Steve. We pick up immediately where we left off in issue 3. There is green slime pumping into the firehouse. There's all sorts of manifestations coming up out of the slime. There's hands trying to rip Gary off of the pole. There's even a set of bugs that's down in the containment unit area, and it apparently is successful in shutting off the containment unit because the goldfish roach monster thing from issue number 1 appears in the next panel and tries to attack the Ghostbusters. And it's really weird because the slime is successful in shutting off the containment unit, but we don't have the same terrible ramifications of that which we saw back in the original Ghostbusters movie. So is that because off camera Winston emptied out the containment unit? Was he already setting up that that off-site location that we see in Frozen Empire? I don't know. And they don't address it either, so that's a mystery for another day. The crew quickly decides to mount up onto the Ecto to get the hell out of the firehouse, and they want to go track down Madame Malveaux and end all this, obviously. One of their instruments detects a spike in PKE readings in Times Square, so they go there for their big face-off. Madame Malveaux does a cliche bad guy speech about how the Ghostbusters are pathetic and Vigo's power is flowing through her, so how can they ever expect to defeat her? The Ghostbusters try out Phoebe's modification, and it doesn't work. So, yeah, they're screwed. We have a brief glimpse of everybody in the city reacting kind of like they were reacting to the pink slime in Ghostbusters 2, only this time there's something a little bit different about it, as Phoebe notes. Phoebe realizes that the pink slime reacted to negative emotions and positive emotions, but this is just reacting to disruption. So she came to Times Square, the madam, to cause the most disruption and enhance her powers. Okay, fine. Everybody's really in a lot of trouble because all 4 of the Ghostbusters say that their crystals are burned out, so they can't really do anything again to try to trap her with the pink crystal modification. Phoebe pulls from her pocket one last chunk of the pink slime crystal. They go to distract Madame Malveaux by shooting the Times Square New Year's Eve ball, and while they're doing that, the remote control trap is moving into position, and then Phoebe, showing frankly a shocking display of athleticism, chucks the last bit of green crystal. It manages to enter the stream that exits the trap, and that is able to trap Madame Malveaux, and that's how they get her. The modification didn't work, but just chucking the pink crystal into the trap's beam does it. And that's it. We head back to the firehouse where Janine, Ray, and Lucky are there. Lucky's appeared again. Where the hell was she? She showed up, like I said, at the park very unexpectedly. She was gone for all of issue 3, and now she's back for the wrap-up at the end of issue 4. We have a little bit of a catch-up. Callie and Winston are talking. He's, happy about how the firehouse repairs are going. He's a little less than thrilled about the damage that was done, but what are you going to do? We end more or less as we began. We have guys repairing the sign, and we have 2 people walking their dog on the street. Although this time, one of them wears a Ghostbusters t-shirt, so the Ghostbusters are truly back in town and back in business. And that's issue 4. That's the series. My overall view, out of 5, this whole series gets a 2. And that's the best I can give it. I didn't really love the art, as I've said. The story could have been better if they stretched it out more. There's a lot of stuff that they did which they never picked up on again. It only makes sense that they mentioned any of this stuff if they eventually follow up with it in an ongoing comic series, but otherwise, the kids getting put in separate high schools that they hated, pointless. The best parts of this series were Phoebe again, just like the best parts of the movies were Phoebe. And I'm not saying they have to make just a Phoebe comic or just a Phoebe movie, but that's your strongest character. At least she's more or less consistent, but there are 3 other people in this movie, in this comic. I feel like there was a way to do it better. The old movies worked. Granted, of course, Peter was the head and the main character, but I feel like when the other guys were on screen, they weren't just marking time and taking up space, you know? They weren't just the comic relief. Things were happening and there was a point. But I can't really see the point in this. It was not the series I needed. I don't feel like it bridged the gap between Afterlife and Frozen Empire. I'm sorry, I'll say one last time, it should have been an ongoing series or maybe just a 12-issue series or something along those lines, and we see a progression of, personally, I'm okay. Let's see them repair the firehouse. I don't need to see them doing all the nitty-gritty, but some work on it. They bust some ghosts. Let's build the team dynamic. So in this, actually, they negate something that was a major moment in Frozen Empire. They won't let Trevor drive the car, even though he did it in Afterlife. They won't let him drive around New York. But in this, when they go to escape the firehouse and start tracking the madam, Trevor drives, Callie's in the jump seat, Phoebe screams that she has the roof cannon, which is just her and the proton pack on the roof shooting stuff, and Gary's in the back not doing anything. So we've already let him drive, which was like a big moment in the end of Frozen Empire. They're okay with Phoebe riding the roof of the Ecto, but then what? A year later in Frozen Empire, her going out on the door gunner seat is a big no-no. It just, you know, something, I don't know if they talk to each other, probably not, but it negates some of the stuff that happened. I hate to do it, but I have to give this a 2 out of 5. Didn't do it for me, and I do hope we get more Ghostbuster comics in the future set in the film universe. Let's continue their adventures. I just hope we get a little bit of a higher caliber in the future. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this review and what you thought of this series overall. Maybe you loved it and I missed something. I'm happy to talk about it. If you have a minute, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Nerd Affiliated, and if you want, for just $1 a month, you can join the Nerd Affiliated Army. There, you're going to get the option to suggest to us things to do for a show. You get a link for the live shows. You can join us and talk to the boss. You get a bunch of other exclusive perks with that, longer videos from our Comic-Cons, and things of that nature. Also, if you head over to nerdaffiliated.com, we have a merch store, and you can get yourself or a loved one the gift of some sweet, sweet Nerd Affiliated merch. We have 2 live shows, Nerdy Coffee, Mondays usually with the boss. He goes over the box office from the weekend, covers any nerd news that's happened, and helps start your week off on the right foot. Thursday evenings, 8:15-ish in the PM, the boss helps to start the end of your week. We all pour a little drink, sit down, do some unboxings. As he says, 2 different shows, 2 different vibes, both a great time. That'll do it for me. Steve, play me out of here, please.